Hello and welcome to another State of the Weapon overview. Today we'll be reviewing the history, current place in the meta, and builds for Sidearms. Sidearms first made an appearance in the House of Wolves expansion. Unfortunately, with a lack of hit scan and there being only 2 Sidearms total to use, they just didn't see much play. Also, one of those options was a laughably bad exotic. For those wondering, hit scan is the method of hit registration that weapons like sniper rifles, hand cannon, shotguns, and etc. use. If your reticle is over the target when you pull the trigger, the game registers that as a hit, in layman's terms. However, Sidearms in their original form didn't use this method. The bullets had a travel time similar to how a fusion rifle or rocket launcher works. The projectile just traveled a lot quicker than those weapons. Why was this bad? Well, it just didn't seem necessary on the weapon class. It caused numerous issues in both PvP and PvE where you were trying to track moving targets and you would have to lead your shot. The point of Sidearms were that the weapon was always ready at your side and you could take it out at a moment's notice to dispatch something that was at low health. And having to concentrate on travel time while swapping weapons, it was just a lot to handle. Fortunately, in the Taken King, the hit scan issue was fixed. Kind of. Bungie introduced the weapon foundries, and Hake knew what was up with Sidearms. Hake Sidearms had a special perk on them that essentially turned them into hit scan weapons, making them consistent enough to start using in activities. Almost immediately, they wormed their way into the now famous KJ Hovey loadout of No Land Beyond and a sidearm. They are perfectly paired with long-range primaries. However, despite their fringe success in PvP, they've never really found a home in PvE. So why is that? Well, to put it simply, there's zero benefit to using a sidearm in PvE. Snipers have their high precision damage at range, fusions put out consistent burst damage in the medium ranges, and shotguns just demolish everything in the short range. Sidearms peck away at health. You don't want your special weapon to do that. Their damage is the equivalent of having a second scout rifle, but that scout rifle could only do proper damage at shotgun ranges. As much as I wanted to say there's some sort of upside to using them, I can't find a reason. In PvE, Sidearms just definitely need some sort of retooling to be viable. While speaking about Sidearms in PvE is a short affair, PvP is much different. Sidearms genuinely feel like they were built for PvP. Due to their damage, they have a deceptively long range and pair extremely well with a mobile playstyle. Their high aim assist means that even when firing at their maximum rate of fire, while moving in the air, your shots will go on target. In a way, Sidearms are everything that hand cannons wish they were in terms of accuracy. There aren't any phantom bullets to be found on these guns, at least when using the Hake types. There are still 3 Year 2 Sidearms that are projectile based: Queen's Choice, Crow's Eye, and Dreg's Promise, so if at all possible, don't use those. There are 2 archetypes of Sidearms that you can choose from for PvP: medium rate of fire and slow rate of fire. Unfortunately, due to the way Bungie shows stats, it's really difficult to see the difference between the two. Normally, you could just look at the impact or rate of fire, but that's the same on Sidearms. The best way to tell what archetype a sidearm is actually to look at the magazine size. Typically for legendary sidearms, a base mag size of 12 or less means that it's in the lower rate of fire archetype, and 15 or higher is in the higher rate of fire. So which is better for PvP? Largely, it's determined by the role you get, but I'll get into that more later. The main reason I prefer to use the slower rate of fire sidearms is due to damage falloff. Once damage falloff starts on a weapon, the higher damage varieties will essentially be able to keep their minimum shots to kill at a higher distance. The damage difference is pretty insignificant on sidearms, but there's still just enough of a difference that I prefer the slower variety. Does that mean that you shouldn't use a good roll on the faster rate of fire archetype over a bad roll on the slower? Absolutely not. The performance of a sidearm can easily go from good to amazing depending on the roll. Also, I tend to favor longer range engagements, so I'm more likely to pick slower rate of fire archetype. If you prefer closer ranges, then the faster rate of fire is probably more suited for you. So in PvP, I find pairing a sidearm with a scout rifle, No Land Beyond, or even Universal Remote to be the best way to go about using them. If an enemy gets too close, just bring out the sidearm and peck them down before they can get into range. Sidearms are also a great option for priming an enemy for a melee. Peck at them and then smack them. So let's briefly get into the roles. Most weapons have a set number of perks that are the best roles, but sidearms are a little bit different in my mind. They go by kind of a priority-based system. The first main priority is upping their range. A single range perk will get them to maximum range, so getting that to make sure that you aren't missing out on any damage is essential. Rangefinder, Hammerforged, and Reinforced Barrel are the options you should go for. The next thing I like to go for is some sort of reload boost. Sidearms expel a lot of ammo, so you will want to always reload yours after you do a kill to make sure it's ready for the next time you need it. The two top perks for increasing reload are Feeding Frenzy and Outlaw. I tend to prioritize Feeding Frenzy since the spammy firing nature of sidearms means that you can't always ensure a headshot on kill. If you're the type of player that goes for melee kills more than weapon types, then Cascade is also another option for you. The final perk is really what I call the personal flavor perk. For me, I like to prioritize Quick Draw since it allows me to bring the weapon out in clutch moments. Sidearms already have a really fast equip speed, but the difference is just enough that I like to go for Quick Draw. Crowd Control, Hot Swap, Battle Runner, and Appended Magazine are also great other options for personalization perks. My suggestion would just be to use sidearms for a while. New Monarchy has a great roll with rangefinder and spray and play on it, so use that and then decide what you want to grind for perk-wise. Sights aren't really that huge of an issue in my opinion. I usually end up just getting steady hand or true sight, but a good roll won't suddenly become trash by not having those. So that does it for the state of sidearms. Put it shortly, they're great and fine in PvP. They honestly don't need to be touched there, but I really hope that they can become a possibility for PvE in the future. They're fun and feel right at home with a scout rifle. And hopefully we'll also see an exotic sidearm that's, worth mentioning. Dreg's Promise is a cool concept, but I feel like sidearms just need to have hit scan to be remotely viable. I hope you found this video helpful. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.